Hello everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would show you what I've been working on the last couple days, and that is kind of remaking, loosely, one of XCaliber's older ships, the Kydex CV, which is a combat steel CV with quite a lot of guns and set up for survival gameplay with pretty much full features at the time. Now this is a older ship on uh, by quite a margin. And when I did the new one here, I was going for a sleeker look, I guess, but it kind of comes out looking more like a jet fighter. um, which, if you can take a look at from the top, you can kind of see that I've sort of followed the general guidelines of the body shape, more or less. But this one, like I said, it's thinner, it's sleeker. Um, Problem I've got with it right now is it's tier 4 by a little bit. Well, by about 300,000. I can make it tier 3 relatively quickly, and it has to do with the thrusters that I'm using on here mainly. It's not even the guns. I could eliminate most of the guns and it doesn't help. What really hurts it badly is using any of these thrusters, these mid-tier or large thrusters. They suck an amazing amount of CPU, 10 times more than what one of these does. And that puts it over the edge. Like, for instance, I'll just show you what I'm talking about here. CPU wise, currently this ship is at, like I said, about 300,000 over 1.5 million, which would be the cap for tier 3. I can instantly fix this simply by removing a couple of these bigger thrusters. Like, let's say I take out the front thrusters right now. Oh, I probably ought to clean that up inside. Well, you never see that, but oh, look at that. So I got little things I got to look over on the ship before it's said and done. But by doing that, I'm almost there. Yeah, almost there, but it's still not good enough because I would have to put front thrusters back in here. So if I took out that in conjunction with the ones in the back and replaced all of these with the smaller thrusters, I grab a few of these and put them in place. Now you can see that it would be below tier 3 CPU at 1.5 million. I really hate to do this, though. I mean, but I'm so close to tier 3 that I don't really want to mess it up for that when I know I can easily make it work with the smaller thrusters. It's just, I got to run a whole bunch more thrusters. Like this to make it work. And now I'm CPU compliant at tier 3. Which kind of sucks because, like, using the bigger thrusters are so restrictive, where you almost are instantly going to push yourself up to a tier 4 really, really quickly with that. And the weapons itself aren't taking a lot of CPU. It's the thrusters. Now, I heard these stats have changed in Alpha 12, so that is something I'm going to have to take a look at as well. But this is supposed to be an Alpha 11 creation, and honestly, I think it looks far worse with what I just did. And not to mention, it's actually, I would say, probably more taxing on the game because I got a whole bunch more smaller thrusters in place now. Not that it really makes much of a difference, but flight-wise, even with this setup, it is a little bit slower, I think. It turns all right. It flies okay. It's kind of like in between flying I don't know, it's a little bit fighter jetish. So basically, I've been frogging around with this, but I haven't been able to get back to my other stuff because I wanted to get this project done and out of the so I can move on and work on that Kriel space station and do another time lapse video, which I've been really wanting to do. But I'm just trying to take care of order of priority on what needs to be done first and whatnot. And that's kind of where I'm at with this ship. Now, the interior of this ship here. Let me go to mood lighting a minute. The interior of the ship's a bit of a stretch again, too, from what I've been. I decided to go with this that orange. And yeah, I like the interior. I like the layout of it. But it is different though. So I don't know. I don't think I'm doing that good of a job trying to model his style and whatnot. This is kind of like my take on one of his ships on how how I would how I typically do things, I guess. So it's not really the same, but it's got a lot of function in this ship. It's got three 320K storage, 80K ammo storage. It only has 18 grow plots in it. It has a secure bridge up here where the core is, as well as all your medical equipment and O2 and all that stuff. And then your food processor and fridge. You got armor locker, armor repair bay, your shields over here, taxi tank, Wi-Fi. I got the right now I got it set up for tier 4 CPU blocks. So there's one here, here, there, and here. And then this lower area has a front ramp, which the original one did not. But the original one had a couple hangar doors that were up in this location here. Now, when I first set up the body on this ship, I actually did have those hangar doors installed, but it totally screwed up the pathing on the interior, where I couldn't get a valid way to get to the bridge of the ship because the hangar doors were right in the way. And not to mention, I added a front ramp door on the bottom side of the ship. So that's kind of the deal there. Anyway, how the layout of the ship was working is here. Let's just go to daylight again here a minute. When you come in here, you get to the central elevator. Now, if you go down a floor, you get to all your crafting stuff right here. If you go straight through, you're right up to the bridge, which has a couple beds. You got your bathroom and shower, a little couch, your control stuff, and then and then the bridge itself. And then of course you have your third-person bridge down below this point from the main crafting floor. So when you're doing all your business down here, it's pretty quick because you can jump over here and start flying the ship in third person right away. And this is an in-between floor between a floor below it and a floor above it, with the extra combat armor facing around this section. I think I just lost power. I did. So that's pretty much the ship. Just curious on your thoughts. Is it too much of a stretch from what I'm trying to model here, or XCaliber style? Because it's probably definitely jumping more probably into my normal type styles, and maybe I shouldn't do that. Now on the flip side too, I've been playing around with some alt versions of this. Let me get up over here a minute. Oh yeah, that's the original one. That was my first attempt over here to do an XCaliber inspired creation. I actually recolorized this one and changed it into the Mark MX-11, which I do want to get out as well. Here's some alt color versions of this ship. Here's a kind of a military camel green type style of it. Now this one over here is another one, and this goes on XCaliber's newer color scheme, or latest color scheme, which is more of your darker grays look. So that is this one, and it probably fits in better. I don't know. It depends on the era though, because he started out kind of like I did with gray ships, and then he added the color with the orange and the lighter and darker grays, and then he went to more of a muted darker gray scheme, and that's what this one is. Now on this one, I had to recolorize the interior to be lighter, so you can see this one is kind of a whiter interior now. And I am really honestly perplexed on what I should do on releasing a ship here, both with the CPU tier and what look or theme should go out, you know, for the challenge. And I don't really know at the time. On this last one, I was just messing around with a totally different color scheme than anything I've really done before, just to see how it would look. I don't mind this one either. I went with a blue and kind of silverish, or at least blue and some white. So all kinds of different versions of the ship here. And I don't know which one I should put out to the workshop for the challenge. Should it be this one over here, or should it be the orange one that I've lost in space? Oh, there it is. Yeah, down over here. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this too much of a stretch? Because, from what I was trying to model, or do you like it? How do you feel about the thrusters? Should I make it tier 3 and put on a bunch of nicky little thrusters to make it work, or should I keep it tier 4 and put on the better looking thrusters? Either way, I believe this has to be Alpha 11. So I can't, even if the stats changed on the new one, I couldn't do it. But that is something I'm very curious about. I almost want to like go back into the experimental and see what kind of CPU it comes out as, to see if the stat changes on these thrusters were enough to make this compliant at tier 3. I hate to go to tier 4 too, because it's like 300,000 over tier 3 with the bigger thrusters. And tier 4 gives you up to 10 million. It's like, oh man, I could build a ship way bigger with way more guns and double layer combat steel and way bigger thrusters and everything for that. And being so close, I just would hate to have a player need to get tier 4 CPU blocks and things like that to build a ship that's really about a tier 3. So it bugs me. So yeah, I've been kind of hung up on this for a little bit, and I really want to get back to doing working on that Kriel space station and some other things, as well as I gotta do the interior on the MX-11 as well. But I guess pretty much all my time's been put into this, all my ETS time at least, over the last couple days. So I wanted to get this one done and ready, and I thought it was, but yeah, I don't know. I got some things I got to figure out on how I want to pull this off. Also, as in CPU, removing a whole bunch of the turrets and these launchers makes hardly any difference whatsoever. It's really all about the thrusters. And the fact that I was trying to use some of the medium-sized thrusters, which are extremely expensive on CPU, and it just makes it pretty much unusable that way. Well, not unusable, but it shoots it up to tier 4 very, very quickly. But they look so much better than running a bunch of these, I personally think. But this works. I still got 2 of the bigger thrusters on the bottom because, you know, I want the lift thrust to be able to lift the weight that it can carry in there. So there is that. But that's about all I've got for today, and I am gonna start working on another, probably a longer video of doing like a time lapse of the Kriel space station, and trying to get that one all going up. Now there's something else too that I do want to get back to, and the next part of this is it needs to be skinned. Let me find it real quick. I'm just trying to remember what I named it. Yeah, Kriel CV gunship. This guy over here. So this is a bigger ship yet. Obviously, this would probably undoubtedly be a tier 4. Even though it's not that big of a ship. It's a little bit bigger than that one, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to make this one work as a tier 3. Maybe. I don't know. Depends on the thrusters. Right now, I think it's really lacking on the amount of thrusters it has on it currently, so that's a problem. In fact, what does this thing actually come out to on CPU? Oh, it's actually really low on CPU. It's got about 500,000 left. It has no interior, though, or shield, or constructors, or storage, or any of that stuff, so I guess it's a little bit easier. And the thrusters, I think, are kind of light on it now. Just curious, how does this actually fly? Terribly. Oh yeah, this thing doesn't have much thrust. You can feel it. It's a combat steel hulled ship too, so it's heavy. I guess it flies alright. It's just not super responsive, and that's due to lack of thrusters. But this one was intended to be a AI controlled ship, where it doesn't have a hangar, and it doesn't have a hangar door, and that's one change I could make, so I can make the body a lot different back here, and not have that big bulky part to it. So I don't know, I'm a little confused on what I should do right now, and I'm just curious if you got any feedback, especially on this Kydex. Do you like it how it is? Do you think this is good? Should I release this version? Should it be made for Alpha 11 Tier 3 with the smaller thrusters, or should I keep the Tier 4 setup on it? Should I release it in this color, or should I go with the other version over here, which is the newer XCaliber's newer color scheme? And is it too much of a stretch from what I was basing this off from? So I'm curious on your thoughts and comments and things like that. And if you got any questions, let me know. I appreciate it. And I guess you all have yourself a good day. I'm going to probably try to get working on that Kriel space station and do a time-lapse part of it. I need to build out the whole bottom of the station and then, of course, skin it, as well as skinning that other Kriel CV. So maybe that'll be a time-lapse, too. I don't know yet. I was thinking about it. All right. Well, anyway, you all have a good day, and I will see you later.